Welcome back, everyone. It's a new week and a new expansion. We finished playing through all 6 characters from the original Disney Villainous game, The Worst Takes It All, and we're moving on to Wicked to the Core. It's a big deal. This is my favorite villain in the entire series. The Evil Queen, the original from Snow White, Disney's first animated feature. I've decked things out with some Disney decor here, even dressed up for the occasion. And we've got some new stuff here too, some new tokens, some new dice. I'm going to walk you through all of this, show you my new setup. We got some deliveries over the weekend with some new doodads, and I'm really excited to show them to you all and to dive into my favorite villain from this game. Yeah? Let's go. So just quick note, we are still quarantined. We've got another 30 days as of today. So yeah, there's going to be lots more videos coming. Just trying to keep myself occupied and afloat. Head over to ko-fi.com/Strugi if you want to leave a tip. If you enjoyed what you're watching. I'm now on furlough from work. So I do still have a little bit more money coming in from my last couple of paychecks. But if you're looking for a writer or editor, if you like my stuff, hit me up, ko-fi.com/Strugi. That'll lead you to my social media and all that good stuff. So in the meantime, let me keep you entertained and show you some strategy on how to win as the Evil Queen. Her objective, defeat Snow White. Seems pretty cut and dry, isn't it? But there are many, many sets we have to go through to get our claws on Snow White, and I'm going to show you how that goes. Okay? So let me show you some of the new stuff I've got. This is just decoration, just for fun. But I mentioned in one of my other videos that you can hop on Etsy and get some nice 3D printed power cauldrons. So I got myself one of those. I'll be putting cards and links in the video and in the description if you want to pick up some of these items. They are not expensive. You won't even pay $20 for this, and it's really cute and really cool looking. It's more solid than the one that originally comes with the game. If you got into this game by buying the expansions, they only come with 3 villains each, and they don't have a power cauldron. That is only found in the original release of the game. So you wouldn't even have one of these if you got an expansion. I don't know why you would go with an expansion first unless, you're just trying to save some money and test out the game. This is a great expansion to start with because, like I say, love Evil Queen. But I got me a new cauldron. It also came with these colored power tokens. I'm perfectly fine with the cardboard power tokens that come with the game. But since these match the Queen's color aesthetic, I'm going to go ahead and use them for this game. Okay? Meanwhile, I also got a 20-sided die. This is for counting my turns, and I searched long and hard to find one that I thought would look like it actually came with the game. And it's this lovely dark gray color with these gold numbers on it, and it really looks like part of the game as if it came with it. But we're using this to play a solitaire version of the game. So if you just want to hang out by yourself, play a game of Villainous by yourself, you're stuck inside by yourself, or you just want to practice with various villains. This is how you do that. And you give yourself 20 turns. So you start with your 20-sided die with the 20 up, and then at the end of your first turn, you're going to flip it down to 19, and then so on like that. Just turn it down to the next number after every turn. In the previous videos, I was using stacks of coins. You can do that, or stacks of power tokens. My villainous friend Rob just got a little counter on his phone and just hit minus at the end of every turn just to count down 20 turns. Whatever works for you, whatever helps you keep track of your 20 turns, and then the game is over. And hopefully you will have completed your objective before those 20 turns are up. Okay? So we also have a 6-sided fate die. This is what we roll between our turns to determine if we get fate played on us. This is one of the new things that I got over the weekend. I had a red die that I was using, But I wanted something, again, that looked more like it fit with the game. This is really pretty. I My only thing is I didn't check the size of these dice before I ordered, and this is much smaller than I wanted. I wanted roughly the same size as the other die that I had, but it's okay. It's still, like, it has this really pretty ivory quality to it and gold pips on it that really looks like it actually belongs with the game. And I got it in a pack of 6. There's one sitting over there by Sorcerer Mickey. And I just grabbed one die each and put it in each of these boxes so that whenever I open a box, I've got a Fate die ready to go to play by myself. But aside from that, I also made my own Fate dice with symbols on them rather than numbers. And that's what I'm actually going to be using during this game. This is just index cards and Sharpies and glue. I just had an idea for this. I put them together. I made them to be a 19 millimeter size die, which is kind of the size that I wanted, just for aesthetics. So I'll show you how to roll your Fate die, your 6-sided Fate die at home, and what the numbers mean when you roll. And then during my game, I'll be using my own Fate dice with symbols on them, and I'll tell you how those work too, okay? Next, there's so much stuff because the Evil Queen's game is really multi-layered. There's a lot going on. And one of the things that's going on is poison. The Queen defeats heroes by poisoning them. And in the game, you're just supposed to take your power tokens and brew poison with them, convert them to poison, and set them right here above her portrait, above the word poison. And they sit there and they are counted as poison instead of power. So I thought, hey, why not have a dedicated poison token? Just, helps clear up confusion about which ones are power and which ones are poison. And it looks freaking cool. Right? So again, I'll put up links for where I got all these things so you can find them yourself. Or if you have your own ideas about what they should look like or what you would like, go shop Etsy and eBay and find some cool stuff. I had thought about maybe using the purple power tokens as poison, since those are the Queen's color. But I ended up really liking these fluorescent green skulls because they stand out and they just look toxic and evil and cool. Okay, so that's all the stuff that I got new. The rest of the stuff is just what comes with the game. So we've got the Queen's Mover. We've got her Villain deck and her Fate deck. We have our Fate token here. And we have a Lock token here, because when we open up her realm, I'm going to lay the board out flat. We see a lock symbol right here at this far right location. That's the Dwarf's Cottage, and that starts locked. So we start the game with one locked location, and we're trying to unlock that location. That's one of many steps we have to take to find and defeat Snow White. And we're going to start with the Queen here in her laboratory. Okay. So you'll see that we have a new symbol here. This is an action symbol that doesn't appear in anyone else's game. She doesn't have a Vanquish symbol, but she has a Brew Poison symbol. So when you brew poison, you can take however much power you wish from your stash and convert it into poison. So say you were keeping your power right here. Okay, so you had your power tokens here. You would have those little black tokens with the gold circles on them. And you say, let's see, I've got 6 power. I'm going to brew half of that into poison. You could do 1, 2, you could do all 6 of them. However much poison you want to do. I like to keep the poison brewing throughout the game. And you would just move those up here. And those are now poison. And they do not count for power. You can't play cards with them. If someone has a condition card where a villain is supposed to have a certain amount of power, these don't count as power anymore. They count as poison. So that's why I got dedicated tokens for this, so that we can see that they are not power anymore, they're poison, and so they can be friggin' cool. Alright, so that was a long intro. There's a lot of new stuff. There's a lot of setup for the Queen's game, but like I say, it's really fun for me because it's an extra challenge. And I don't recommend this game for a newcomer because just like with Ursula's game, there's lots of different steps. So this isn't one you want to jump into if you're a first-time player, okay? There is another villain in this expansion that's really good for first-time players. There's a couple of games in the original release that are good for first-time players, and I go over those in their videos, okay? So for now, let's find out who is the fairest one of all, shall we? So let's begin. We always start our game by drawing our first hand of 4 cards. Okay. What have we got? We've got some good stuff. And we move to our first location. You can move to any location you want. Villains always start at this location when you set up the game. And at the start of every turn, you need to move to a new location. You have to leave the location you're at. So for my first turn, whenever I play, I always like to go to whichever location has my gain 3 power and my 2 play a card symbols. Okay? Almost every board, every realm has a location like that. And that's a good place to go to on your first turn to get yourself a nice head start. So we're going to gain 3 power, these pretty purple power tokens. I'm going to set them here. And then let's look at what we have to play. We have a condition card. These are only played during someone else's turn, so we're not going to obviously play that. Althixia, because the queen has a little more difficulty defeating heroes, she has to poison them, and that's a few steps of a process. She has this card that lets her play the action symbols at a location that the hero is covering up. So that helps her deal with heroes while she's trying to get rid of them. Or in some cases, she might not want to defeat a hero, but we'll get to that. We have 2 cards here that are called ingredients. What's an ingredient? Well, there's a special card type that the queen has. Just like Maleficent has curses in her deck, a special card type, the queen has this special card type. And it's an ingredient, and it's played very much like an effect. You play it, an effect happens, and then you're done with the card. Except if it's the first time you've played that ingredient, you're not going to discard it here. You're going to discard it right here where it says ingredients. Right here beneath the queen's portrait. So there are 4 different types of ingredients. These are the ingredients to the potion that turns the queen into the old hag so that she can sneak over to the dwarf's cottage and say hello to Snow White. So once we've collected all 4 of those ingredients to make our potion, then we can unlock Dwarf's Cottage and get at Snow White. All right? So, let's see. Which one do I want to play? I could actually play both of these. Sometimes when you play an ingredient, especially early on in the game, their effect doesn't have any effect. Like this one, Scream of Fright, lets you move a hero, but there are no heroes. It's still a good idea to play them because you're trying to get them done, right? You're trying to get those ingredients played so you can unlock the dwarf's cottage. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it because this was a really good draw. We got 2 of our ingredients right off the bat. That's a good head start. So we're going to play Mummy Dust. That's one of our ingredients. And after we play this, each time a fate action targets you before your next turn, take 1 power from the supply and add it to your poison. So if we were using regular power tokens for our poison, if someone targeted us with fate, we would just grab one of those and set it right here. Instead of that, we're just going to grab poison token right out of here and set it there. But that's if we get fated. We don't know if we're going to yet. But it's a nice, it's a nice defense to have. So we're going to play Mummy Dust right here. I like to just scooch them up here to make room. And that costs us 1 power. And then we're going to spend our next 2 power playing Scream of Fright. There are no heroes to move, but that's okay. We're going to play it anyway, just to get it played. So that's 2 power. Going to tuck that little guy under here. And we're down to our next 2 cards. So we have a condition card and this effect card. We don't have a discard symbol at this location, so we have to keep these cards for now. So we will end our turn by drawing back up to 4 cards into our hand. Cool, cool, cool. We've got the same condition card. And we have Take a Bite. This is what we use to poison heroes. That's how we finish them off. We'll get to that shortly. So I'm going to end my turn, placing my cards face down. And then I'm going to take my turn counter die, my 20-sided die, turn it down to 19. If you were using stacks of coins, you would just discard one. And then we're going to roll for fate. So if you have your fate die at home, your 6-sided fate die, you're going to roll this between turns to find out if you get fated or not. If you roll a 1 or a 2, you get faded. Play fate on yourself. Draw 2 cards, pick which one you want to play, discard the other. And be hard on yourself. Pretend that you're not yourself for a moment. Pretend that you're the other player trying to make things difficult, trying to stop you, foil your plans so that they can win, okay? If you roll a 3 or a 4, nothing happens. You're in the clear. If you roll a 5 or a 6, you can play a condition card from your hand if you have one, okay? So that's how you roll for fate at home. I'm going to use my homemade fate die that I just made. This one with the black marker on it is what I'm going to use between my turns to roll for fate. I call it the fate attack die. And it has roughly the same outcomes as that regular old die. There are 2 fate symbols. So if I roll a fate symbol, then I play fate on myself. I might roll a -1, so I lose 1 power. I might roll a 0, in which case nothing happens. Or I might roll this pink play a card symbol, in which case I can play a condition card if I have one. So it's roughly the same things. It's got that -1 power, just, to add a little bit of extra risk and excitement to the game. But I get to use the symbols of the game instead of just a generic die. If you dig this, if you like this idea, I do have the patterns. If you want to print one out at home, you can also just make one yourself. Like I said, with an index card, I measured these to be 19 millimeters, drew the symbols on them, cut them out, glued them together. Done. Okay, so let's see if we get fate played on us. We do. First turn. So let's draw 2 cards and see what we have. Okay, well, neither of these really hurt us. Every now and then, fate goes in your favor. So we drew an effect where it says Evil Queen loses 1 poison. We don't have any poison yet, so there's nothing to lose. And then it says choose a hero from Evil Queen's fate discard, and there aren't any. So that's a useless card. And this is a wishing well that you attach to a hero, but there are no heroes in our realm right now. We attach a whole dang well to a hero, but there are no heroes. So in this case, fate has favored the queen, and those cards cannot be played against her. So we are doing okay. Sorry again if you hear the notifications on my phone go off. I am on a big old text chat with my coworkers. We're keeping each other company. And I just like hearing the notifications. It's comforting, so sorry for that. Okay. So that was the end of our first turn. 19 turns. Another little house rule that I added to this solitaire game is every 5 turns, so at 15, 10, and 5, if you haven't been faded in the previous 5 turns, you automatically get faded every 5 turns. If you watch some of the earlier videos, some villains got off like really scot-free without getting faded almost at all. And that makes for a really too easy of a game, you guys. We got to balance it out a little, Also, I don't know what the universe was doing here, but it seemed like in the solo games that I recorded, the female villains got faded a lot more than the male villains. It was just a random roll of the dice, but it felt very eerie. So to fix that, every 5 turns, 15, 10, and 5, if you haven't been faded in the previous 5 turns, you do get faded. So the queen already got faded once, so it's not going to happen again. Or at least not. It's not going to happen when we hit 15 because we already got faded. Okay, guys, that was 1 turn. Sorry about that. You'll probably also hear some activity happening outside, air traffic, and maybe some sirens. There's stuff going on in the world, guys. That's just the way it is. And we have to accept that, and I can't cut off all the sound from around me. So we're going to move here, we're going to gain 2 power, and I'm sure a lot of the sirens and air traffic are people being helped right now, and yeah. So just think good thoughts when you hear those sounds. Okay, so we can't do anything with these cards. This is to play symbols covered by a hero. This is to defeat a hero, and these are cards that we play during someone else's turn. So there's nothing we can do with any of those. So we do have a discard symbol here, and there are 5 copies of this card in your deck, so you'll find more. And we're just going to get rid of our entire hand, because remember, we're trying to find those ingredients and some other things to help us get at Snow White. So we're going to get rid of our whole hand. This is a dramatic move that you might want to do early on in your game, especially if you are a villain who's searching for a particular card and the cards you have aren't doing you much good. Go to some place that has a discard symbol and just clear yourself out. It feels dramatic, but it's sometimes the best thing to do. So we're going to draw our hand back up to 4. That definitely paid off. We got one more ingredient that we haven't gotten before. We have an ingredient that we've already played before, so we can still play this, but it's going to go to our regular discard. Here, I put them upside down. Why'd I do that? Discard face up. It's going to go to the regular discard rather than to the ingredients, because I already have a Scream of Fright. But Black of Night, I do not have yet, so I can play that on my next turn, and that will help me out. Okay, got another Take a Bite. It's fine. And I got Thunderbolt. This lets you repeat an ingredient that you've played in here. You just pay the cost of the original ingredient, and you can replicate that ingredient's effect. Kind of handy. Gotta say. All right, so that's the end of our turn. Going to turn our die down to 18, and we're going to roll our Fate attack die again and see what happens. We rolled the condition icon. If you were using your 6-sided die at home, that would mean you rolled a 5 or a 6. I don't have any condition cards. You remember that I discarded all of them. Oh well. You makes your choices. You lives with them. Okay. So we begin our next turn. We're going to go to the laboratory now. Usually I would head back to the mine to get some more power, but I want to show you how brewing poison works and how our Fate defense die works. So we're going to gain 1 power. We're going to play Black of Night. This lets us repeat an action at the location that we're at. So I often try to play this when I'm at the mine, because then I can grab that 3 power again. But like I said, just for example's sake, I wanted to move to the laboratory to show you this stuff. So I'm going to pay 1 power to play that card, and then I'm going to repeat the gain 1 power symbol. So I gain it right back. All right. And now we have 3 of our 4 ingredients done. We need to find 1 more ingredient, and we can unlock the Dwarf's Cottage. Okay, so let's brew poison. You can brew as much as you like. I really like to get the poison chugging along early in the game, so I can have it when I need it. So I'm going to take 2 of my 3 power, so I can have 1 left. Pay that much. I'm going to take 2 poison tokens out of my jar and place them right here. So now I have 2 poison. And when you defeat a hero, you have to pay as much poison as their strength. So this would kill a 2 strength hero. Okay? So now we have our fate symbol. We're going to perform a fate action, and we're going to use our fate defense die, is what I decided to call this. And it looks a lot like the other one, except the symbols are written in gold. Okay, so a few different things can happen. If you are using your 6-sided die at home, and you roll a 1 or a 2, you would gain 1 power. If you rolled a 3 or a 4, nothing would happen. If you rolled a 5 or a 6, you would take your fate token and place it on top of your fate deck. And then the next time you rolled fate against yourself, You just move the fate token off of the deck instead of playing fate on yourself. So it's a protection. I have similar actions on this. If you roll a 0, nothing happens. If you roll the fate symbol, you move the fate token onto the deck. You could gain 1 power, or you could lose 1 power. So there's a little bit of fate happening in there. It could work well for you or not. All right, nothing happens. I rolled a 0. And again, I have a little pattern for that. If you want that, let me know. I've got a PDF. I can send it to you. You can print it out, cut it out, glue it together. Have fun. Okay. So we have played a card. We have gained power. We have performed a fate action, and we've brewed poison. The other action symbol we have here is move a hero. This is another way that Evil Queen can move the heroes around, can control the heroes, while she's trying to work up enough poison to defeat them. It's very handy. Not every villain has a move a hero symbol. And of course, it also makes this location a prime target for heroes to be played, because then it stops her from being able to control them if you're playing Fate against her. Okay, so that's the end of our turn. We're going to draw our hand back up to 3. We've spent a lot of time talking about the basics of the Queen's game because it's complicated, and so this will probably be a longer video than most. But now that I've explained a lot of this, we can just really get into it. And we just drew our final ingredient. That was honestly really fast, you guys. That doesn't always happen. We got really lucky there. So we have Old Hag's Cackle as our final ingredient, and we'll get to play that on our next turn, hopefully, if all goes well. So that's the end of our turn. We're going to turn our 20-sided die down to 17. We're going to roll our Fate attack die. And we rolled the condition symbol, but we don't have any condition cards, so we don't do anything. Just like those pirates. Let's move to the mine. We really need to pick up some power. So we're going to play our final ingredient, you guys. Old Hag's Cackle. This lets you gain 1 power for each location in your realm that has a hero. There are no heroes in our realm right now, so we're not going to get anything, but it doesn't cost us anything to play. And remember that we have Thunderbolt, so later if we do end up with some heroes in our realm, we could play Thunderbolt and replicate that card's ability, and we can snag some power. Okay? So let's play Old Hag's Cackle for 0 power. Stick it into our ingredients bin. And that unlocks the dwarf's cottage. So now we have another location available to us. Sometimes when you play this game, you will find Snow White before you unlock the dwarf's cottage, and her card specifies that she can still be played here even if it's still locked. The point is you have to be at her location to poison her, so you got to unlock the thing to get at her. But she can still be played. She isn't now, but that's fine. She will be. We've accomplished the first step in our mission. We have turned ourselves into an old hag and gained access to the dwarf's cottage. Aren't we special? So what I'm going to do next, you guys, is I am going to play Thunderbolt. Because I want to replicate Black of Night. See, this can get really messy because there are all these cards stuck everywhere with her game. I'm going to pay 1 power to replay Black of Night and gain 3 power. I basically got 2 more power. And every little bit helps. Okay? What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to move my power up here so that I have less of a mess happening. Okay? And that way my ingredients are going to sit right here for the rest of the game, just to indicate that I have indeed succeeded in collecting them. Whoops. Get back in there. And then I can play Thunderbolt anytime I want to replicate the effect from one of those ingredients. Okay. So my power is going to go there. So I'm trying to be tidy. A lady needs to be. Good heavens, people. We hear you. I think people are like really stir crazy and they just want to make noise. Okay. So we're done with that turn. We're going to draw our hand back up to 4. We have another take a bite. But most importantly, we have our magic tomes. I really love this card. This is going to help us find some other things. The Queen's game is difficult, but she has a lot of really powerful cards that are fun to use, like those magic tomes. So we get to do that next time. Yay. Yay. Okay. Let's turn our die. Oh goodness, I just got lost. There we go. To 16. It's only been 4 turns, you guys. Let's roll for fate. And we are going to get fated. Sleepy and Pickaxe. So Sleepy is only 2 power. But when he's played, you can play both cards that you revealed during your Fate action. So this is an item. Just like in many Fate decks, you attach it to a hero, makes them stronger. Normally, Sleepy's not the one you want to attach this to. You want to attach it to Snow White to make her stronger. You want to attach it to one of the more powerful dwarves who stand in your way to make them stronger. But we don't have another dwarf to play it on. So we're just going to do that. We're going to play it to Sleepy. He's going to be 4 strength now. And like I said before, we're going to play him to the laboratory to cover up that move a hero symbol and just be kind of a pain. And it also covers up the gain 1 power symbol. Okay. Another good spot would be the woods to cover up that 2 power symbol and the activate. So there we go. Our first fate. Our first hero, rather. Okay, so now it's our turn again. We're going to move to the woods. Going to gain that 2 power. And we're going to play Magic Tomes for 2 power. Considering that a lot of her cards can be kind of expensive, we've done pretty well with our power. But we also haven't brewed a lot of poison. I usually have more poison than this at this point in the game. But that's okay. I'm looking for some other things. So I played 1 card. I've gained 2 power. And then I'm going to activate my tomes. So what do the tomes do? Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. Put 1 into your hand. Discard the rest. So there's a particular item I'm looking for that lets me find Snow White. And I'm trying to find that. There are also a handful of other useful items that make me more powerful. I already have 2 copies of Take a Bite, so I don't need to go looking for that. That's what I'm going to use to defeat Snow White. Maybe to defeat Sleepy. Who knows? If I feel like it. So we're going to draw 4 cards. So this card specifies look at the top 4 cards. It doesn't say reveal. If it said reveal, I would turn them over and everyone could see. But it says look at, which means I get to view them myself. And no one else gets to see them. It's my secret. Okay, we actually got a few good cards. We got another copy of Magic Tomes, so we're going to discard that because we don't need that. We got another Alphixia that lets us use the symbols that a hero is covering up. We have a Huntsman. He's our only ally. And remember, we don't use allies to defeat heroes in this game. We use poison. But if the Huntsman is at a hero's location, they get -1 strength. So it's just a little less poison that you need to use to defeat that hero. That's really the only reason for Huntsman's existence, is to weaken heroes, so it's less expensive for us to defeat them. And you can activate him and move him to any unlocked location you need him to be. But he's not the card we're going to keep. This is the one I'm looking for, Magic Mirror. Isn't this just like generally a cool looking card anyway? It's very badass. And this is the one that lets us find Snow White. You activate it for 3 power and just find her and play her, and you're good to go. And in the meantime, it has an ongoing effect. Each time a Fate action targets you, draw a card. So it helps you move through your deck and just gives you a more powerful hand because you get to draw more cards. Yeah, so we're going to discard those other 3, put this card into our hand. Ta-da! Cool. That was a good find. And I'm not going to discard anything because I have what I need for now. Okay? Okay. So that is the end of our turn. We will turn our counter down to 15. Now, if we had not been fated yet in these first 5 turns, we would get fated now. But we've already been fated twice, so we get to roll the die to see if we are free this time. We're not. Let's see what happens. Oh, here's Snow White. So if you're playing Fate against the Queen, you don't want to play Snow White because that's literally playing right into our hand. So you're going to take Snow White and get rid of her. And now the Queen has to go after her. So what we do get to play is Woodland Creatures. Evil Queen must reveal her hand, choose a card from her hand to discard, and I think we all know what we're going to choose. I'm going to take the magic mirror that we just found and make her discard it. So now we have to find a way to go after that darn thing. Darn you, Fate. Foiled again. Okay. That was rough, guys. But that's how Fate goes sometimes. Yeah. So now since we've had a precious card torn out of our hands, we're starting our turn with only 3 cards. Alright, so we're going to start our turn. There are still cards that would be useful for me to find using magic tomes that would help me get this mirror back. I'm not going to do it just yet because for the sake of example, I'm going to show you how to defeat a hero. So we're going to head over to our laboratory. We're not going to collect. Has the pickaxe attached, so he's 4 power. 4 strength rather. So we need more poison to defeat him. So we're going to brew poison. Let's grab 3 power. You know what? Let's grab 4. Let's go for it. We're going all in. Well, not all in, but a lot more. And we're going to shake some poison out of our jar. And now we have 6 total poison. And then we're going to use our play a card symbol, and we're going to play Take a Bite. So, the instructions say to choose a hero at Evil Queen's location, and pay poison equal to the hero's strength to defeat that hero. So 2, 4. 4 poison. We just drop it back in the jar. If you were using your power tokens, you would drop them back into the supply. So Sleepy is now defeated. Takes his pickaxe with him. Now that we've uncovered these 2 top symbols, we can play them if we want. So we'll collect 1 power. And then we will roll to perform Fate. Yay! So we rolled the Fate icon. If you were rolling your 6-sided die, that means you would have rolled a 5 or a 6. And we get to take our Fate token and place it on top of our Fate deck. And that means next time Fate is rolled against us, it just removes the token rather than playing Fate against us. So we defeated Sleepy. If he had been in the realm at the same time as Snow White, she would have gotten +1 strength. So for every hero that's in the realm, Snow White gets 1 strength stronger. And there are, can you guess how many other heroes there are? 7, yeah. So she could potentially be 11 strength. But also Dopey's card makes all other heroes in the realm 1 more stronger, so that would be 12. You could, if you want to, if you got really lucky on the draws, you could end up attaching both pickaxes to her. So she could be 16 strength total. I've never seen that happen. That would be like a wild chain of events, like a lot of bad luck on the Queen's part. But you can make Snow White really impossibly strong. So that's one reason you might want to get rid of dwarfs, is to make Snow White easier to poison. But sometimes it's less trouble to just pay the extra 1 or 2 poison to take Snow White out rather than poison the dwarves first. It's up to you. You have a lot of ways to control the heroes in your realm, so think about what you can do in that regard rather than just defeat them. But I felt hurt by that turn of fate, and I needed to take it out on someone, so I defeated Sleepy. Okay, so let's draw. Oops, sorry. Let's draw our hand back up to 4. Ooh, we have another cool item with an activate symbol on it. We grabbed another take a bite, so that's good. We'll keep that on hand. Okay, so that's the end of our turn. And we will move the die down to 14. Okay. Let's head over to the mine, snag some more power to make up for all that poison we brewed earlier. And we're going to play our new card here, the box. And when we activate the box, we gain 1 power for each hero in our fate discard pile, up to 3 power total. Cool. So that was 2 power. We do have an activate symbol here, so we're going to activate that. And we have 2 heroes in our fate discard, so that means we get 2 power. So we just played that card for free, basically. Look at us go. Okay. We still have this ingredient that we haven't replayed. I could have played that on Sleepy earlier and moved him off of this symbol and over here, but why? I actually, I'm okay with heroes being here because they don't cover up that much that's useful to me. I'm more upset when they cover up my activate symbols. But anywho, I don't know. I'll either play this or discard it, get it out of my hand. But I don't have a discard symbol right now, so I'm just going to call it a day. That was a pretty good card to play. Going to draw back up to 4. We have a condition card. This condition card lets us search our deck a little bit, help us find things. So that could be useful if we end up getting to use it. We'll see what happens. Okay? That's the end of our turn as we know it. Turn our counter down to 13. We're going to, before I brew more poison, I'm kind of greedy. This is a lot of power that I could brew into poison. I'm not going to just yet, because I feel like picking up some more, and I want to activate my magic tomes so I can look for some cards that I need. So I gain 2 power. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. So we're gonna activate that. I'm sorry I keep bumping the camera. I'm trying a new setup with a different angle, and so I'm kind of squeezed in here. I'm doing my best. I hope I don't give you all headaches. So let's look at what I've got. Ooh, I really like this card. But this one you can activate, and it just gives you a little poison bonus. You just get to grab a token from the supply and add it to your poison, or in this case, we would just take it from our poison jar and add it. I really like it. It's a cool looking card. But it's not the card I'm looking for. The one I'm looking for is Black of Night. Oh, wait, you know what? That's not... I'm wrong still. This is an ingredient. I'm getting it confused with a different card. So actually, I am going to take this card. Thank you very much. We're going to discard those others. We're going to take the throne. We're going to add it to our hand. We can't play it yet because we already used our play a card symbol. So you'll notice we have a little larger hand than normal because we didn't have to discard anything to do that. It just said take a card and add it to your hand. So our hand is a little large at the moment. That's perfectly all right. I am going to discard. I'm going to use that discard symbol. And I'm going to... it kills me because probably I'll bet I roll the condition symbol after I get rid of this. But I still have my magic tomes to let me search the deck, so it's not that bad. So I'm going to get rid of my condition card, and I'm going to get rid of this extra ingredient that I don't need because I've already played it. So into the discard they go. And I'm down to 3 cards, so I'm going to draw one more to refill my hand for the end of my turn. This is the card I was looking for, Black Magic, not Black of Night. This is one of the most powerful cards, not just in the Queen's game, but like in the game ever. You can it just lets you grab whatever card you want. If it's in the discard or in your deck, if it's an item or an ingredient, you can just grab it. And this is a way to fast forward her game if you are desperate for that last ingredient, or you're trying to, I don't know, snag your magic mirror so that you can get Snow White back out into play. So that's what we're going to use it for on our next turn, hopefully. Okay? Oh, you know what? Right, because all we did was activate. Okay. We never actually used the play a card symbol on this turn, so I could have played a card, but I already discarded and then redrew for the end of my turn, so I have missed my opportunity. Sorry, guys. I'm sure you were all, like, screaming at your screen. Like, what is he doing? Play the damn card. Now we have to wait a whole other turn. Sorry. I'll do better, I promise. That's the end of our turn. We're taking our counter down to... I lost the number. Where did it go? Watch me struggle here. Okay, down to 12. We will roll for fate. Uh-oh. Oh, actually, no, we're fine. So we rolled the fate icon, which means we play fate on ourselves, but we moved the fate token into place earlier. So now we just remove it, and that's it. We are spared having to go through that. So, let's get some action going, you guys. On to mines. Game 3 power. We're really piling it up here, but you can, when you perform the brew poison action, you can brew as much poison as you want. So I can just, when I finally have time, go to the laboratory and just snag a handful of power and turn it into poison. So first, let's play Black Magic for 2 power, and we will get our mirror back. There he is. So for 3 more power, let's play him. I'm sorry, for 2 power. So we've used both of our play a card symbols. Then we're going to use our activate symbol, and we're going to activate the mirror for another 3 power. See, aren't you glad that we hoarded all that power? Because we really needed it. Now we get to find Snow White. Da, da, da. And Snow White can only be played to the dwarf's cottage. So that's where we will play her. All right. So what do we have to do next? We need to brew some more poison, because Snow White is 4 strength, and it'll take 4 poison to defeat her. So we'll need to do that. And then we'll just need to avoid the vagaries of fate and hope we don't get knocked out of this game. Okay. You might notice a light shift in just a second, because I'm going to pause and recharge my battery, literally, because this is a really janky setup and I don't have a power cord for this camera. So I'm going to pause, charge up my battery, and when we come back, we're going to zero in on Miss Snow White. And we're back. I had some lunch. I applied another coat. I'm not a professional at this, guys, so please don't judge me for this being spotty. So we finished our turn. I turned our turn counter down to 11. Usually I like to turn things up to 11, you know. Okay, so got Snow White. We're going to roll for fate. Let's make some things happen. Got little birdies joining us outside of the window. Hopefully those aren't more woodland creatures come to take cards out of our hand. Ooh! Okay. Oh, okay. These would both be kind of nasty to play against us. Evil Queen loses 1 poison, so we don't have much poison right here. Like I said, I'm a little behind, sorry. And then we choose a hero from Evil Queen's Fate discard pile and put it on top of her Fate deck. It's like you're bringing them back to life with Love's First Kiss, right? The only hero in our Fate deck right now is Sleepy, so it's not like the worst thing ever. Not the strongest hero. So I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to play another hero, a little stronger of a hero, Grumpy. Ain't he great? If there are no other heroes at his location, he gets an extra +1 strength. So, he's all grumpy and was doing self-isolation before it was cool. So as long as I play him to one of these 3 locations, he'll actually be 4 power, and so he'll be a little more difficult to defeat. Plus, Snow White gets 1 power for every other hero in the realm, so she's going to be kicked up to 5 power. So I'm going to put him in the woods. Sorry, my fancy new power cauldron is in the way, but that works. That still covers up those 2 symbols. All right, Grumpy. Darn ya. So this means we've got to brew some extra poison if we want to defeat Snow White. And you see what I mean here? Like, we could go defeat Grumpy as well, get him out, but that's costing us 4 poison. So do we want to spend 4 poison on him, or do we just want to brew an extra poison and spend 5 poison on Snow White? This is the question. This is what you have to think about when you're playing the Queen. And like I said, you have ways to work around your heroes. You've got this move hero symbol over there. So I could move him over, and then I could go use that 2 power spot right there. You have the Alfixia card, which lets you play the symbols that he's hiding. So you've got options. You don't just have to defeat the hero. And there are some heroes, we haven't seen them yet, but they have abilities that are activated when they're played. Like, for instance, you play Happy, the dwarf, and you lose poison when he's played. So rather than defeat him and send him back to the discard and risk him ending up back in the Fate deck and played again and losing more poison, maybe you just want to keep him in your realm. Just move him around as needed, work around him, and continue on with your nefarious schemes, So that's an option too. So you don't always have to jump to defeat a hero. And just like any other villain's game, the Queen doesn't have to defeat all the heroes in her realm to meet her win condition. She just has to defeat Snow White. That's the only thing she has to do. So once Snow White is defeated, even if there's other heroes in our realm, we've won. We're good. We got it. Yeah? Cool. Let's start our next turn. First, let me remember what cards I have in my hand. Oh yeah, the throne. Okay. Which I don't I don't get to activate if I play it right now because my activate symbol is covered up. But we're gonna go to the laboratory and gain 1 power. And then we're gonna use that 1 power to play the throne. So the throne just helps us beef up our poison a little bit. And because it's an activated card, we can activate it from one of these 2 locations. So you don't always have to return to the laboratory to brew poison. It just gets you 1 extra poison every time you activate it. You just take it straight out of your supply, whether it's your jar of poison or the power token supply. But we can't activate it right now because we don't have an activate symbol here. But now it's out on the board. Isn't that nice? So we've played a card, we've collected our power and then spent it. You will notice here I have a move hero symbol. So I'm just going to use that to move Grumpy over to the laboratory. And so now for my future turns, I've got the gain 2 power symbol and my activate symbol back. And since I've already collected the 1 power here, I don't need it anymore. And he's not covering up that much. right now. It doesn't bother me as much. So he's kind of out of my hair. So, real quick, I'm going to brew some poison. I'm not going to brew all that I need to defeat Snow White yet, although why not? Maybe I just should. Guys, why am I talking myself out of this? Let's brew 3 poison, because that'll get us up to 5. Look, I got nail polish on my hands too, because it's this really thick, goopy, glittery stuff. And again, I'm not a professional, so it's kind of messy, but I'm home alone. Who's going to see it except like the 2.5 people who watch this video? So, alright, so that brings us down to 1 power, but we now have 5 poison. So on our next turn, the plan is just hop over here to Snow White and get rid of her before anything else happens. Okay? That's unless another hero gets played. We're going to perform a fate action, and so maybe we'll get lucky and be able to protect our fate deck. So we'll roll our fate defense die. No, we lose 1 power. Ah! Oh well, we tried. Okay, so that is the end of our turn. Now we're on turn 10, and like I said with my new rules, every 5 turns at 15, 10, and 5, if you haven't had fate played against you in the previous 5 turns, you automatically play fate against yourself on this turn. So we just had fate played against us, so we're in the clear, sort of. Oh no, I just turned it a little and lost it. Okay, there's 10. So we get to roll the fate die to see if we get fate played against us. It might happen anyway, it might not. But it's not a for sure certain thing, so let's stop hypothesizing about the future and anxiety and just chill and let what happens happen. We do not get fate played on us, and we don't have a condition card. And look what we forgot to do at the end of our turn. We didn't draw up to 4, so I'm just going to do that now. We have another take. Whoa, we really are filling up on these. I think we've played 1 and discarded 1 Take a Bite card, so we have the other 3 copies of this card in our hand now. So let's use 1. Let's get this over with, guys. We don't need to brew any more power or poison. We don't need to look through our deck anymore. We don't need to... You know what else I didn't do? Since I have the mirror, when fate gets played against you, you draw an extra card. So I should actually have 5 cards in my hand right now. That's the cool thing with the mirror, aside from being able to find Snow White. But again, we have all the cards we need right now, and we're about to win the game. So just, make a note of that when you have the mirror. Don't forget to draw that extra card. It's very easy to forget because you're usually freaking out about getting fated. But don't forget, you have that advantage. That's why you've got that guy on your side. Okay. For our next and final turn, we'll move to the Dwarf's Cottage, gain 1 power, and play Take a Bite. Just like we did with Sleepy, we're going to grab grab poison equal to Snow White's strength. So it says 4 on her card, plus 1 because there's another hero in the realm, so that is 5. Poison. There we go. Take a bite and make a wish. I wish to be the fairest in the land, please. Done. We have poisoned Snow White. We have defeated her. Grumpy's really grumpy with us now, but what's he going to do? The game is over. We defeated Snow White. Oh, that was a really evil laugh. I didn't feel that coming on. I'm really getting into this game, you guys. It takes you over. And that's it. We did it. I hope you all enjoyed it. That was a ton of fun for me. Like I say, I love this game. Fate tried to set us back by throwing some dwarves at us and taking our mirror from us, but we got it back. I usually have a lot more poison than that brewed. I'll just have stacks and stacks of poison, but we brewed just enough. It was more about precision in this case than it was about drowning our heroes. So we brewed just enough. We found our ingredients, we unlocked the dwarf's cottage, and we brought out Snow White just to poison her. Huh. So, once again, that was a solitaire game. We used our 20-sided die to count our turns. We used a 6-sided die to roll for fate. I made these little buggers just for me. If you want the pattern for that, let me know. I'm putting up links to the different shops that I bought these items from so that if you like them, you can buy the same thing. Or just use your imagination if there's something else you want to do. I was using a little jar of old grimy pennies that kind of looked poisonous before I got these, so you can use that. Just whatever, this game invites you to use your imagination. If you had a good time here, please, if you can spare a couple of dollars, go to ko-fi.com/Strugi and leave a tip there. You will see the previous 6 villains, Maleficent, Captain Hook, Jafar, Ursula, Queen of Hearts, and Prince John. Videos for all of them. Videos for more villains coming soon. There's 2 more villains in this box. There's 3 villains each in these boxes. So there's just villains on their way. It's a lot of fun. I'm also working on some bonus content for some villain games that I'm devising myself. If you want to watch that, I'm not sure how I'm going to release that yet, but stay tuned. I don't know if it'll be for donators or subscribers only, or if I'll just put it out there. I don't know. Who knows? So thanks for spending some time with me. I'm gonna get another game going, you guys. Well, I actually got up like at a normal human hour this morning, so I could leave the house for the first time in a week and a half and run an errand, get back safely, and clean up, and still have daylight to shoot games with. So I'm going to take advantage of that and get some more games done for you guys. Okay? Enough of me. Bye, Snow White. Bye, you guys.